Okay, so nice to see many of you today. I think we also have some friends joining from New Zealand. So there's people from New Zealand, Sydney, and Perth, Western Australia. So welcome you all. And I am right here sitting in Jhana Grove Meditation Retreat Center. And what better topic to talk other than jhana meditation itself, isn't it? I have to say something about that, otherwise, it's kind of not right. It's a very beautiful place here, and I encourage you all one day also to come here and do a retreat with Ajahn Brahm or Ajahn Brahmali. Quite a nice place. So, these subjects are quite important, isn't it? As meditators, as practitioners of the path, we often wonder, the states of deep meditation, how to get there. And some of us, or some of you, or anybody who's been meditating for some time, and if you have not yet been able to get into deeper meditation and wondering what's going on, what could be my problem, I'm sure there are many, many things that can contribute towards it. But I came across a very beautiful sutta accidentally. I was looking up something else, and you will soon find out what I was researching. But in this sutta, it was giving 5 things that stops you from entering jhana, the first jhana. And jhana, for those of you who may not be familiar, jhana means the first level of deep meditation. Yeah, the first in the Noble Eightfold Path. The 8th factor is called Samma Samadhi, and it is defined as the 4 material jhanas. So they are deep meditative states. There are 4 of them. And this sutta was just describing even stopping you from entering the first one. Are you interested to know what these could be? Maybe not what you guess. That's why. I mean, I'm sure if I ask the audience here, you'll all tell many things that will stop you from getting into jhana. But this is a very interesting sequence. That's why I thought to bring it up. And for anybody who want to look it up, it comes up in the Numerical Discourses, book number 5, sutta number 264. And it is called Another on the First Jhana. So of course, if you look up the suttas around that area, up and down, in the 260s, you'll see quite a lot of suttas on jhanas and what stops you and conducive conditions for jhana, etc., etc. So in this particular sutta, the Buddha says the 5 things that get in the way of you getting into deep meditation. Number 1 is your strong attachment and stinginess towards dwellings. Attachment to your house. You don't think about it, isn't it? And also for the monastics, it's their attachment to their kuti or hut. You wonder, can that stop me from? So keep thinking, yeah, the Buddha gives this list, so it must be important, because sometimes you think about the big things, but sometimes small things matter. So the next one is the stinginess and strong attachment towards family. Now that you might say, yes, I can understand how this can be a problem. Right, towards families. But in this occasion, it is also about the monastics, and for the monastic, it is also about their support base. So if somebody is very sort of stingy about their supporters, doesn't want to share them with everybody else, that is also a problem for entering jhana. Now, keep thinking. We'll talk about it. Okay, and the third one is stinginess and attachment towards gain. Yeah, wanting things, gaining things, having things, accumulating things, so getting things. And the fourth one is stinginess or attachment and that concern about getting praise. Do you like to be praised? Do you like to receive praise? We all do, isn't it? Whether we shake our heads or not. Who can say, I don't like being praised? Yeah. But the fifth one is the one that I'm going to talk most about today. And this is quite different to the other three. The other three was all about stinginess and attachment towards things, towards dwellings, towards family, towards gain, and towards praise. But the fifth one, now this will blow you away because it did for me, because I did not expect to see that. And that is being ingrateful and unthankful. Interesting, isn't it? Do you think that being an ingrateful person and an unthankful person will really get in the way of your deep meditation? Or rather, the opposite, like being grateful and thankful is a support for entering into jhana. Interesting, isn't it? So in this sequence, all the obvious other things are not there, but Buddha is bringing up some other subtle things that we never think about. We never think about these things, how they affect our meditation. Now, leave aside jhana, that's like, much more deeper state. But just how was your sit this evening? Like as we sit, meditate, yeah? See how our mind goes here and there, isn't it? What are those concerns? What are the things that our mind run into? Take a moment to reflect. You can even close your eyes as you were sitting. What were the things that the mind went into? And you might think, yeah, there were things about the house that you were concerned about your family that you were concerned about getting things that you were concerned about, yeah, about what other people might think about you, isn't it? These things constantly take our mind away. Do you agree? These are the things. We never think about it. We never think, why? Yeah. And ingrateful and unthankful. Now take a little moment to think about that. Sometimes in the world, the bitterness that can arise when we see, oh, the coffee should have had more sugar. It wasn't hot enough. They made it for me, but they could have done a better job. It was just only from McDonald's. They could have gotten me a nice coffee from a nice place, you know. Can you see sometimes the tendency of our mind? Instead of appreciating, we like to complain, we like to fault find, we like to say it's not good enough. And it is quite easy also to get upset with the people who care for us, yeah, who are our close people, and say they're not doing good enough. Whatever they do isn't enough. So these kinds of things sometimes can be quite subtle, but they are there, yeah. And these are the things that can sometimes matter. And, it is really, really important to observe our mind, and you will see that this, even though sounds like a strange sequence to be given as something that stops you from entering deep meditation, if you close your eyes and watch where it's going, you'll see these are their usual places, concerns and stinginess and strong attachments to these very things stops us from entering meditation. So as always, I like to give people homework. So I'll leave you to contemplate the first four, and that is the stinginess and the strong attachments to the dwelling, to the family, to gain, and to praise. But today I will speak a little bit more about gratitude and how helpful gratitude can be to our spiritual journey and to meditation, deep meditation, and all the way to enlightenment. Yeah, so that's a very powerful emotion. And again, I also want to talk about what gratitude actually is. Like, what is this emotion? Because sometimes when I give this kind of talks about gratitude, people get a bit confused. And they say, is it like metta? Is it like karuna? Is it like this? Or is it like that? Because these emotions can be a little bit close and get mixed up. And sometimes they do come together. Like when you have gratitude, you will also have affection for the person that you have gratitude for. Yeah. So these kinds of things can happen. But it is also important to know that they are also distinct. Yeah. It is important to know what's different between these two. Like I think a week or two ago, we spoke about the Brahma Viharas, the four divine abodes. So there were I clearly sort of try to explain how those different states, metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, or loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity are quite different emotions. In the same way, gratitude is also quite a different feeling. And gratitude, as you would know, is something that come up with in your heart when you have that beautiful feeling of appreciation for having received something for free, something that is beneficial to you. And this has to be actively cultivated, isn't it? It doesn't come naturally. There are some people who have trained in this, and for them, it is second nature. They have gratitude coming up so easily. But this is not common. There are many, many people in the world. Gratitude does not come up easily. Yeah. Fault finding is the one that comes up, or taking for granted. Yeah, my mom, her job is to cook for me. My dad, yeah, they have to provide me this. My son, my daughter, my this, my that. That's their job. I do this, they do that. And you take things for granted. Yeah, we take everything for granted. But is it the case? Isn't it? So that's why we take things for granted. And after we take things for granted, then we go into the next level. Why isn't it good enough? Why can't it be better? This should be like that, and this should be like that. And it's kind of quite ugly, isn't it? And you think about it now, the way of thinking when somebody has done whatever they could do, instead of saying thank you for helping, or thank you for doing this, even it may be the most unhelpful thing for you at the moment. Sometimes this happens, right? Because sometimes your friend or your family member does not know what is it that you need. So they just try to do something and might give you something completely useless for you and add up into your clutter. But the thing is, they try to do something for you. So instead of saying, I don't need it, why did you waste your money? You know, this is troublesome. Even that kind of mindset can come up very easily. But instead, remembering, wow, they wanted to do something for me. Yeah, you had to actively bring it up. But it is so beautiful because you can see the opposite, how damaging and how bitter and how ugly that is. How can that kind of mind state, the opposite mind state, or just the ingrateful, unthankful kind of mind state, can block us? Yeah, because that ungrateful, unthankful mind state is what takes us into states of depression. It's one way of getting into depression, because that is when we see all the downsides, things not good enough, not happening, all of those things, even about ourselves, about other people, about things happening in our lives. When we start to only look at that, downside of things, the mind goes into that state called depression. And what is the Pali word for depression? Last time when I gave a talk about this, I kind of forgot the Pali word. But recently we were having a chat with Bhante Sujata and he reminded us. The Pali word for that is domanassa. Okay? Domanassa. Now, very important term for those of you who know the Satipatthana Sutta, the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the Four Foundations of Mindfulness Sutta. It has as a prerequisite to establishing mindfulness. This is not even now samadhi, this is the step before that. This is the seventh factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. Samma sati, and prerequisite for that is abhijja do vinaya loke abhijja domanassang. That is in Pali. So having removed the covetousness and that strong greed towards the world, and also domanassa, having removed depression. So covetousness and depression are two things that stops you from even establishing mindfulness. So mindfulness, strong mindfulness is required to get into deep meditation. So you can see even at that level, you can't go. And again, covetousness, yeah, strong desires, strong attachments. There's that other four, yeah, towards, your dwelling, your people, gains, praise, all of those things, yeah. So it is right there, but we miss it. So sometimes that's why the Buddha has ways of showing them in different angles. It's called different pariyas. Yeah. So it's the same thing, but you shown from another angle, suddenly it clicks. Ah, that's where it is. That's the connection. That's why the Buddha says that this can stop you from entering deep meditation. So it's kind of nice to see it there. So a mind that is down, a mind that is kind of in depression does not have the ability to enter into deep meditation. It doesn't have that mental energy. The very reason why it is down is because of how it has been thinking and going and wanting. Yeah. So all of those things, when you see that, you can see the connections and how we need to do quite a bit of work outside. Yeah. Whatever it is causing us these things, we need to do work outside and prepare ourselves before we sit to meditate. So it's a lifetime undertaking because our minds are the way they are, right? Every one of us, every single one of us go through states of depression in a day, at least little bit, yeah? And some more, some less. But this happens every time. When this is happening, see how are you thinking, what is going on, and see those kinds of habits and see its danger later on, and how the momentums of such momentums can be detrimental. Yeah. So this is important. These are work that we can do as we go about in our day, yeah, day-to-day life. We can watch our mind and incline instead of gratitude, and gratitude have incredible benefits. Now, I want to say a little bit more about gratitude. Now, in the suttas, as far as I have read, I have really not seen, except for one kind of situation, the Buddha gives a definition for somebody being a bad person. The Buddha talks about bad actions or bad things like, killing is bad, stealing is bad, lying is bad, like that. He talks about bad behaviors by body, speech, and mind. But it is very rare for Buddha to call somebody a bad person or even give a definition for somebody who is bad and somebody who is good. Again, when I came across that sutta, I had a bit of a shock and got me thinking. So the Buddha says and defines a bad person. I can actually read it. It's a very short sutta, so you get to actually hear what the Buddha says. Um, So this is again in the Numerical Discourses, chapter number 2, sutta number 32. And here the Buddha addressed the bhikkhus, but this is also for bhikkhunis and everybody else as well. But I'll just read it as it is. Bhikkhus, I will teach you the plane of the bad person and the plane of the good person. Listen and attend closely. I will speak. Yes, Bhante. Those bhikkhus replied, the Blessed One said this. And what is the plane of the bad person? A bad person is ungrateful and unthankful, for ingratitude and unthankfulness are extolled by the bad. Ingratitude and unthankfulness belong entirely to the plane of the bad person. That's pretty strong, isn't it? And then the Buddha says, and what is the plane of the good person? A good person is grateful and thankful. For gratitude and thankfulness are extolled by the good. Gratitude and thankfulness belong entirely to the plane of the good person. Quite powerful, isn't it? This is how the Buddha says somebody who has in their heart that ability to bring up thankfulness and gratitude, them the Buddha calls a good person. Yeah. So again, a little bit more for us to contemplate. Because why? Yeah, this is where we get a lot of insights into the working of our mind and things that we think as quite simple things. So big deal if I am not so grateful for my friend for doing this. Is that so bad? But the Buddha says it is. And there's another really beautiful sutta called the Jackal. And that, let me read that as well, because these are really nice. This is in the actually Samyutta Nikaya, that is connected discourses with the similes. And this is so Ascend, chapter 20, sutta number 12, called the Jackal. Let me read that as well. So at Savatthi, Bhikkhus, did you hear an old jackal howling at the flush of dawn? Yes, Venerable Sir. There may be some gratitude and thankfulness in that old jackal, but there is no gratitude and thankfulness in a certain person here claiming to be a follower of the Sakyan son. So he's actually upset or telling off a monk who is having, bitter thoughts and being ingrateful and unthankful. And he's telling, therefore, because you should train yourself thus, we will be grateful and thankful, and we will not overlook even the least favor done to us. Thus, you should train yourself. And in the footnote, it tells the story about the jackal. Apparently, there was this there was a jackal, and a python has, wrapped around the jackal and was about to eat the jackal. And a farmer went past by and saw this was happening, and the farmer tried to somehow distract and take away the python and release the jackal. That was some time ago, right? And many years later, another python, or the same python, I don't know, tried to wrap around the farmer and was going to eat the farmer, and that old jackal saw that. And then the old jackal ran to the farmer's house and somehow managed to get the attention of the farmer's family and got them to come and save the farmer. So the jackal remembered the good the farmer had done, right? Even being an animal had so much gratitude. So the Buddha is telling, even an animal has so much gratitude, so much more should us human beings have for anybody who has done even the smallest deed for us, given us a glass of water, a tissue box when we needed it, or anything, yeah? So it's so very important. And also there is like a really beautiful reflection that people can do. Like when you're eating your food, very often we just, mindlessly eat, read something, talk something while driving, we are eating. Instead, when you have your plate of dinner or lunch or breakfast, you can see in this plate of food I eat, I see the whole world supporting me. It's true, isn't it? It's so very true. We saw that during COVID, right? No matter how much money we had, certain things were not available, certain things we could not buy. Yeah, this is how it is. I since there are some New Zealanders, I remember there was a time that there was no eggs available, I heard, due to some kind of legislation. So then you can see it's not just the farmers, the truck drivers, the people who put the food into the supermarket shelves. So many people contribute towards the food that we eat. Yeah, it's not just my money, my time, my everything, which is what we normally think if I went and bought my food, who to be grateful to. But you can see, even if it is your money and your time and you cooked it for yourself, still, there were many, many people. So to bring up that idea of gratitude to all of these people who support me, we are completely dependent on others. We cannot exist on our own, yeah? Everything. Imagine if the plants didn't produce oxygen. We can't breathe, yeah? And there are countries in the world There's no good quality drinking water. Yeah, and some other places, there's no water whatsoever. There are people, nothing to eat. There are many people, as we are having this Dhamma talk, who has not eaten in the past 24 hours or even 48 hours, let alone having anything to drink. Yeah, so we forget these things to be grateful for the little and big things that we have and for the people who have contributed towards these things. And so many people have given so many things to us. And the beautiful thing about this is when we bring up this idea of gratitude, the mind state, this emotion, some very good things happen in our body too. So, beautiful neurotransmitters get secreted into our blood like dopamine and serotonin. Yeah, they are very helpful for meditation because they are mood activators. Yeah, they give you that energy to sit, they give you that uplift. Yeah, they give that joy, they give a kind of stamina to keep going and brightens your mind. So, there is also the scientific side to understand why gratitude is so very powerful. Yeah, so gratitude has incredible ability to help us, even to just live in a quality way our life, but all the way to enlightenment. Yeah, all the way to deep meditation. So you can see that uplift, that gratitude in the mind can really really be a good support and a like a shortcut if you want, a speedy way into meditation. Because when the mind is uplifted, it's pretty easy to sit there. The mind is pleasant, it's happy. But also think about it a little bit, yeah? So when you are grateful, when you are thankful, you are quite happy and satisfied with what you have, isn't it? Yeah, you're satisfied and happy with what you have. Then you actually don't want anything more, isn't it? Yeah, because that wanting to be somewhere else, like Ajahn Brahm says often, wherever you don't want to be, there you are inside a jail. But whenever you are happy with what you have, then you are, you are here, you are still, and you're happy. But also I want to bring up where this gratitude comes up in another place, and that is in the Mangala Sutta. Yeah, the blessing chant. In the blessing chant, the gratitude comes up in Santutticha Katanyuta. Yeah, Santutti and Katanyuta. Santutti means contentment. Katanyuta means gratitude. So again, you can contemplate the connection between the two, yeah? The connection between contentment, that is, I'm happy with what I have, I'm satisfied, I don't want anything more. And gratitude is bringing up that thankfulness and appreciation for what you have. So when you have that in your mind, the mind actually settles down instead of going. The movement of our mind is to do with these things. Yeah, the movement of our mind happens precisely because we are not happy to be here and we want to be somewhere else, or we want something else. But the ideas of contentment and gratitude are extremely, very powerful in stilling our mind. Yeah, do you agree? Can you see the point? Yeah, so it's really helpful to understand it in this way. The power of ideas of contentment and gratitude. Again, they're two different emotions. It's very important to know the difference between these things. Yeah, contentment is that satisfied to have what you have, not wanting anything more. But gratitude is that appreciation of what you have and the joy that comes up, and it settles the mind. So this is really very beautiful for when I found this. And the last thing that I want to mention about gratitude, again, quite surprising. I want to give you the sutta reference, maybe even read it. And that is, which one is the sutta? Okay, this is again in the Numerical Discourses, book number 4, Sutta number 213, called Ingratitude. And here the Buddha says this: Bhikkhus, one possessing 4 qualities is deposited in hell as if brought there. What for? Bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, mental misconduct, and ingratitude or non-thankfulness. One possessing these 4 qualities is deposited in hell as if brought there. Quite powerful again, isn't it? Because we usually hear about the 3, like misconduct by body, speech, and mind can be causes for somebody to go into the lower realms or into the hell. But we never think about ingratitude. This is serious stuff, right? Ingratitude as a pathway to end up in hell. Again, these are things we need to think about. Yeah, even I myself want to contemplate deeply. But it is that bitterness that comes up and the hurt that you cause for somebody who cared for you. Yeah, because somebody has done something for you. In their heart, they were trying to help you, give you something, but you become ungrateful, unthankful, and that bitterness that comes is quite hurtful for the other person when we express, isn't it? These things happen to us sometimes. Yeah, these things happen to us when we are mindless, when we are in pain, when we are not in the right state. Sometimes it happens, and this is how we hurt the people we love. Yeah, so this is why. And these things are important, these things matter. But if the Buddha really don't highlight it, we never think about it, isn't it? We never think about it. We think about the other 3, like misconduct by body, speech, and mind, to be serious. But we never think about ingratitude as something serious. Yeah. And the opposite is also true. And in the next part of the sutta, the Buddha says the things that takes you to heaven, as if brought you there, is the good conduct by body, speech, and mind, and gratefulness and thankfulness. So again, that kind of mind, that's a beautiful mind, yeah? And a mind that is appreciative, a mind that is thankful, it's a very beautiful mind, yeah? So that is how that can take you up into heavenly realms and also to the Brahma realms. And those are the jhana states as well. So if when we are able to meditate deeply into the deep meditations, they do take us also to those realms or to enlightenment as well. So whichever way, they are on the way. So not to underestimate the power of gratitude and also the power of ingratitude to stop us, yeah, from entering deep meditation. And also we can take, since we are talking about, the main topic is about what stops or the secrets, or I can't remember what the topic I gave on the WhatsApp, but whatever it is, the things that stops you from entering deep meditation, we know it's the 5 hindrances, right? The sensual desire, ill will and negativity, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. So again, we can see the connection between these 5 and the other 5. They all got to be the same kind of thing, right? They have to be related, because these are the things. Because what happens is these 5, the hindrances go down, and that is when the mind enters into jhana, the deep meditation. And you can see again how, when there is ingratitude and unthankfulness in the mind, how that can actually bring up the 5 hindrances. Yeah. Again, shall I leave that for homework? Because this is much better. Sometimes when you just hear somebody say it, then it goes, yeah, and then it just goes away from your mind. But when you have to do the contemplation yourself, then it actually goes inside of us. Yeah. So this is also a method that the Buddha said. The Buddha said the method of learning and practicing and applying yourself is that sutta, datta, vachasa, parishita, manasanupekkhita, ditya supatividya. What does that mean? Sutta means listen carefully. Datta means retain it. Vachasa parichita means verbally practice it, like memorize it. Manasanupekkita. So this is mentally investigate it. Yeah, this is the homework I'm talking about. Thinking about it, investigating, how is that going to work? How is ingratitude leading to sensual desire? How is ingratitude leading to ill will and negativity? That's easy. How is ingratitude leading to laziness, slouthness of the mind? How is ingratitude leading into restlessness? How is ingratitude leading into doubt? Yeah, quite powerful when we do it, when we see it, and when we catch ourselves doing it, then it gets established. Ditya Supatividya, then that view gets established. And once the view is established, the view is the most important thing. And now I'm going to say something, another thing that is quite important for us. Now, for many of us who have been practicing meditation, practicing the Dhamma path for quite a long time, we know that, sometimes, in the past, we didn't have enough mindfulness. We didn't see what we were doing, so we did stupid things. But now, even as practitioners, do you sometimes catch yourself doing silly things and stupid things with your eyes open? Knowingly, seeingly, fully well knowing I shouldn't be doing this. You can't stop yourself and go ahead and do it. We do that, yeah. And you can now say it was not because I was not mindfulness. Yeah, then we can't blame not having mindfulness. Otherwise, I was not mindful, like this happened. Sorry about that. But we can't do that because you mindfully, with full mindfulness, did stupid things. Why is that? That's because there's still wrong view. There's ingrained wrong views pushing us to do. Even though the mindfulness reminds us of the Buddha's teaching and the right view aspect. For example, let's say, I'm going to say an innocent one. You can think about a non-innocent one privately. Okay, innocent one as a diabetic. Okay, eating chocolate cake is not great, right? It can kill you. So you see a chocolate cake and you are hungry and it looks really yummy, you're very mindful. You see, you know it's not good for you. You know you shouldn't be eating it. You know exactly what's going to happen to you. You know all of that. You still go ahead, grab it, and you eat it. Why is that? Because even though you know right view that this is very lasts only a short time, the taste lasts there for a few seconds. After that, you have to suffer. Even your death might happen. Worse than that, you can get a stroke. All of that is right view. That's true. But there is also that strong wrong view saying, it's yummy, it's nice, it's pleasurable, have it. Yeah. So that part of wrong view is also there. It is also there. Yeah. So this goes to all of the sensual desires. This is where sometimes we, with open eyes, go and do silly things and feel guilty later on because as practitioners, we know better not to do it, but we did it mindfully, seeing clearly, did it. Yeah. And that is because there is wrong view. So view is really important. So establishing view and correcting our view slowly is so important. So mindfulness itself isn't enough. Yeah. So mindfully we can do stupid things very well. So mindfulness and right view is both important for us to guide ourselves in the right way, to get into deep meditation. Yeah. So this is where we need to do our homework, like in the sense we need to observe our mind, see how it is working, how, all of these things are coming, how you're directing, how it's leading us into trouble, and seeing again and again and again and again. Our minds are very stupid. It needs a lot of bad experiences before it decides, okay, that's it. This is really, really dangerous. Yeah. So never mind. At least while you're doing it, keep reflecting it, yeah, because even after doing the silly thing, reflect back and see what happened. See, it's okay, I mean, not to beat yourself up later, but see, well, was it worth it, and all of that, bring it up. Eventually the right will become stronger and the wrong will settle down. So this is why it is really important, this mental investigation and investigating about these Dhamma qualities, how they work and how they apply to our mind is so very important. So it is really important that we do that. So that's why instead of just only hearing about these things, applying it, investigating it, and make it, allowing it to become your own view, internalizing that right view is so important if we want to really make progress. Yeah. So again, with ingratitude, when that happens, because I'm sure it will happen to us. this is sometimes the nature of our mind. Check how it feels, what happens. Also catch yourself when we have gratitude. Yeah, it's so beautiful. And the other thing about gratitude is also in the beginning, for people who are not very used for it, might be difficult, might need to put in a bit of effort. But this is also regulated by the prefrontal cortex of our brain, which means it is self-perpetuating. After a while, it becomes easier to bring up gratitude again and again, even for the smallest little thing. And the life is so beautiful when you see people like so happy. Oh, today is a beautiful day. I'm happy. Whatever they are given, they're so very happy. Even McDonald's coffee, they're happy. I got a coffee, they're happy. Yeah. It's nice to hang around with these people who are happy whenever and easy to please with giving something, and people who are very hard to please to, who are constantly complaining, gives us so much stress. Yeah. It's so nice to hang around with people who have gratitude. And when we become like that, it's also nice for other people, a beautiful gift we can give to other people. So see every morning as you wake up, things that you can be grateful for. I am alive. Yeah, for example. And also, as you go to sleep, think about your day and who you can be grateful to, because sometimes in the hustle and bustle and the busyness of our life, we forget many things. Yeah, then send a note, send a message. Yeah, say something in appreciation for the people who had supported you. Very helpful, very nice. Yeah. Anyway, so this is what I would say for now, because these kinds of topics, the whole of the path is about deep meditation, about getting to jhanas, right? I'm not going to be able to cover everything in one go. And of course, you have heard so much about these things from Ajahn Brahm as well, and in many other Dhamma talks. So today, what I wanted to point out is that aspect of gratitude and ingratitude and its implication to our progress or digress or going back in meditation. So any questions, comments, agreements or disagreements? Yeah, somebody, Nilu is telling, thank you for sharing this Dhamma talk, Venerable. World has both grateful and ungrateful people. While it's good karma to be surrounded by the grateful people, how should one be with ungrateful people? Well, you can have gratitude towards the ungrateful people, right? Because they can give you teaching. They are your good teachers, yeah? Because when you have done something nice and good for somebody, and when they express their ungratefulness, that sort of triggers difficult emotions in us, right? So then you can use that for your practice. What else to do? It's, we can't do much about the people who are ungrateful. We can only, do our best and not expect. I think I mentioned this in a previous talk about the idea of giving. You know, I was sharing an advice my father gave me as a little girl. And that was, if you want to give something to somebody, he said, think about three things. And first thing is, don't expect them to say thank you. I said, oh, that's no problem. Second thing, don't expect them to do something similar in return or anything in return. All right, that's no problem. Third one, expect them to do something difficult and terrible to you. Are you able to handle that? So that's part of that being ungrateful, right? You're trying to do something good, you're trying to give something, you're being generous and kind, and then they respond with, you just have to accept and understand. So the way is to understand the conditionality, understand maybe, they're not in the right mental space to be able to see, they don't understand. And also catch yourself at times when we are having that ingratitude and unthankfulness come up, and see how we were at that time, why we responded in that way. Maybe we didn't express it, but in our head it would have gone, oh dear, I don't want this. Why are they doing this? This is unhelpful. Or, you know, even if you didn't express, when that mind state come, see, so this is life. Yeah, this is people. This is defilements. Yeah, this is how people are. And it is the strong conditioning, especially the modern world is so conditioned to fault find, isn't it? Constantly when people get together, they just talk about not good enough, how bad, how terrible, how this and how that. Think about your poor politicians. Yeah, don't always blame them and fault find. They are also doing something useful, right? Imagine if you had to do that. Do you want to be the politician and do the work they are doing? It's not easy being a politician, right? It's also quite difficult. Sure, they can do their job better, but they also do some good things. So instead of focusing on to the bad things they do, try and see the good things they do. Every single politician, I'm sure how bad they are, they also do something good. I've just brought it up just as a way of challenging, we can. So yeah. Oh, that's a nice message from Michael and Letty there. Deep gratitude to you, Aya Karunika. Very inspiring. Okay, thank you. Is gratitude related to Nibbana? Yeah, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Nibbana, yeah. Yeah, gratitude. If you look up those suttas in the Anguttara 5 around the 260s, it shows that it is not only for the first jhana, second jhana, but it is also for the attainments as well. Yeah, goes all the way. Yeah. Yeah, I think a mind of an enlightened being would be like that. Yeah. Sometimes it's nice to do this reflection. What would be the mind of a arahant like? Yeah. So an arahant's mind is contented. An arahant's mind has equanimity, like that stability. But an arahant's mind also has that gratitude. Yeah. So every time we incline our mind like that, we are inclining our mind towards a mind that is liberated. Yeah. Because that's why when the defilements really go, that is when the gratitude is the fullest. Just like the Brahma Viharas, just like those Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upeka, those things are best practiced when the defilements are completely gone, because your mind is so pure. It is only a very pure mind can really have gratitude and appreciation to 100%, yeah, without anything. Kind of beautiful, yeah, kind of beautiful to see.
Buddhist gratitude.
And then the Buddha's gratitude, yeah.
Buddhist.
Yeah, to the teaching. Even the first thing the Buddha did, if you know the life story of the Buddha, soon after his attainment, soon after he became enlightened, the thing that came to his mind was to see, to express his gratitude. And he was thinking, who can I express gratitude to? Who is my teacher? Yeah. And he realized, the Dhamma. Yeah. And he had lots of gratitude towards the Dhamma, but he also had gratitude towards the Bodhi tree for giving that protection. So gratitude is something that creeps up, pops up in a mind of an enlightened being. Very powerful to see. Yeah, very powerful to see. And the gratitude, uh, also for us, the way that we express our gratitude to the Buddha, like I was mentioning in the meditation, is by practicing. Yeah, that's the best way. Not by offerings, not by doing this, not by doing that. And even for our parents, it's by living by their advice, following their advice if it is a good advice. So it's by our practice that we can really show our gratitude. But of course, a hug, a thank you, all of that goes as well.
Then was Sariputta
Mm.
when he became Arahant also. He was gratitude to his teacher who
Yeah.
had shown his the way.
Yeah, my mother is here listening to me, and she's telling me about the Venerable Sariputta, the amount of gratitude he had towards the Buddha when he became Arahant. Yeah, because it's a
As well as
very,
his first
yeah,
teacher.
first teacher. He also had gratitude to his first teacher, who was Sanjay.
No, Pasodama.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no.
yeah, no, it was Asaji.
Another
Yeah.
one.
Anyway, these are nice things. As you read the suttas, you will pick this up. Yeah, sometimes it's
Asaji.
the main sutta is one thing, but also, there are many other things. Seeing the personality of the person, yeah, simple things, but they teach also very powerful things. We can easily overlook at that, reading the Buddha story and his gratitude and think it's just a small thing. But here we can see it's actually a big thing. It's what got him there in the first place, that kind of mind state. Yeah, so it's also learning beautiful ways to read the suttas in a powerful way. Yeah. Anyway, so what is so Nicola says, I am struggling to feel gratitude when I feel attacked by a close person. I've now got guilt that I'm not be loving, feeling quite stuck. How to move away from feeling resentful? My easy answer would be that I gave a talk some time ago about removing resentment, but it is true, yeah, when some people are being quite difficult, uh, well, you can have, instead of gratitude, equanimity first of all. Yeah, when there are multiple things going on, it is difficult. So of course, when that is happening, you can understand karma and vipaka, causes and effects of things, conditionality of life, conditionality of the situation, and try and see whether you can bring your mind to balance through understanding. So in that occasion, you can't go to gratitude straight away. So first of all, you have to bring to equanimity by understanding, by conditionality. And then you can also bring up compassion because you see that person, even they are not mindful, whatever causing them to do this attack or being difficult to you, they still have to reap the bad consequences of that. Yeah. So once you see that, you can bring up compassion to that person. And then when you've done that, if you manage to do that, then later on you can bring up gratitude for the person for teaching and giving you that opportunity to practice it. It's true. Difficult times in our life, they are the that makes you stronger in your practice. Yeah, they are the great teachers. Sometimes it is those difficult periods where you learn the most. Of course, you go through hard time, many difficult things and all of those things, but not maybe when you are stuck in there, but later on you can always reflect back and then use those situations to build up your practice. This is so very true, even for myself. Even as I go through difficult times, then later I'm so grateful. Even what I just mentioned to you about, the power of a wrong view. Yeah. I told you like my own experience, feeling guilty myself for with fully open eyes doing stupid things, and then discovering the power of the wrong view. Yeah, when you see that suddenly, no matter how much somebody else tells you, sometimes yes, it comes with a cost, it comes with difficulty, but at least later you're grateful for that experience and that person that made you stronger in your practice, gave you the opportunity to build up. So that is when you build up gratitude later, not straight away while they're attacking and you're emotional and you're not in a good state, but you have to do it at the right time. Yeah, make sense, Nicola? Okay, thank you. Okay. So Shireen says the secret is in being grateful and seeing the positive in everything. Happy to know that That is also the Buddha's teaching. Yes, positive mind states, so very helpful. Yeah, so very helpful. Thank you, Aya, for tonight's Dhamma talk. And please post the recording when it is available so we can share with the family. Thank you. Thank you. Wishing me blissful retreat. Thank you. I will also think of you all about next Thursday. I'm not sure. I might be able to still do it, and it might be nice for me as well, depending on what state of mind I am. And Dhamma teaching always gives me joy. If not, I'll put a post on the WhatsApp group and saying I am retreating happily. See you the following week. But let's see how it goes. Yeah, thank you so much for being there and sharing Dhamma together. And we'll see you either next Thursday or the Thursday after.